There's a couple things I want to point out. So one thing, especially when it's busy, I want you guys to really, really be in tune. As a technician and advisor, you guys have to have clear communication, right? It has to be crystal clear, all right? Tech, advisor. Tech, this is production. We have two businesses in one business. We have sales and production. There's not a lot of businesses like that in the same building. It's very, very rare. And production pulls this way, sales pulls this way. If you guys think about it, all the arguments that you guys have, it's always between a production and sales. It's never really between advisor or between techs, right? You guys are pulling, it's like tug of war, and usually the stronger person wins out. Really, that's not how it's supposed to be. You guys have to work together. So let me tell you some things that I kind of realized. So remember last week when we talked about, like, if a customer comes in, they remember the one thing we did wrong. We could do a million things right, but they remember the one thing. It's like having like that water bottle right there. All right, let's say it's full of nice clean water, you would drink it, right, if I gave it to you? But if I put like an eye drop of piss in it, just like a little millimeter of piss, would you drink it at that point? Shook it up? Anybody? No, right? No. Hopefully no, unless you really
Circumstances here.
So, I just want to point out, we can do a million things right, but we always go back to that one little thing, right? How many 5-star reviews does it take to negate a 1-star review?
19.
And it still won't be a perfect 5. When you think about it from the customer's perspective, we can do everything right, but we might forget to reset the oil change light, right? Or put a sticker on there.
Or tire pressure.
And in their mind, they're thinking, hey, did we even change the oil? That's what they're thinking. Not like, hey, they forgot to reset the oil light. Hey, they forgot to do a data and change the oil. It's those things. Now let me bring it down to a technician and an advisor. As a technician, if you're thinking, man, the advisor's not selling me anything. Dude, he struck out on 3 cars in a row, and I did these awesome DVIs. Anyone experience that? And it's frustrating as hell. It's frustrating. What you guys don't realize is that for those of you guys that have been here for a while, there might be one thing that the advisor, subconsciously, not even knowing, but he's like, man, I got burned in this situation before. And they might not be able to sell it with 100% confidence. It's happening, all right? It could be a situation where you guys were just wrong on DBI, like they had to get a second opinion and they got burned, right? Or this situation, the diagnostic was wrong, right? Oh, they said it was this. See, what you guys as a technician don't see, you see it now, you didn't see as a technician.
See, that's right.
You're like, oh man, it was a wrong diagnosis. Whatever, I was just wrong this one time. You guys don't see the brunt of what the advisors are taking on. They're taking full responsibility for your diag. That's been wrong. That's been hundreds of dollars. And they're taking the customer face on the brunt of it, but they block it from you, right? You guys don't know about it. They don't make a big deal out of it, but the advisors take that on, all right? So maybe like doesn't sell. Maybe that's what's going through their mind. Or maybe they don't understand this, or it doesn't make sense, or hey, I feel like I'm being overcharged. These are all the stuff that they're getting from the customer. And it might have not been recent, and 99% of the time, you guys have done it right as a technician, but that 1% is what lingers. How do we fix this? Because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Right? Everyone's made mistakes. I made mistakes. Everybody's made mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But let me point this out. This is why I know this is true. All right? A brand new technician comes in. They're not as good as you guys, but the advisors will sell 72.96% of what they recommend. You guys know that? You know whose number that was, close ratio last week? It was Brooks. All right? John, 69.37% they closed out. Everyone else is hovering around right below 50, which is what's expected. The advisors, our advisors can sell when they believe and trust and everything's a clean slate. You guys realize that? They can sell. But man, when there's lingering doubt, when there's this, or this happened in the past, it's all eats away at them. And sometimes it's a traumatic experience. When a customer comes in and like really blows up, right? That can be traumatic. You might not know it, but no, man, that doesn't bother me. As an advisor, you can say, no, man, I'm a professional. That doesn't bother me. Bull crap. If something traumatic enough, it'll bother you. What's the whole point of this? As a technician and an advisor, you guys have to be direct line of communication, and you guys have to be completely vulnerable. All right? Be completely honest, transparent, and vulnerable. Like if you're an advisor and you see a ticket and man, this picture, it doesn't really make sense. You know, I don't think, this doesn't really look like it's bad. So you go up to the technician and you ask about it or you look it over. And as a technician, at that point, you can do one or two things. You can be super offended and be like, dude, what the heck, man? You don't trust me? You don't trust me? That could be your reaction, right? Or you can do it the other way around. Aaron, come on, Jeff, let me show you this. Dude, you gotta show this to the customer. Hey, you want me to take that wheel off for you? I'll take the wheel off for you. There's two ways. You can keep your pride and dignity and you can be like, dude, you don't trust me? I'm a professional. You don't, dude, I'm offended. You can keep your pride, but you know what? Is that ticket gonna sell? Nope. It's not gonna sell. You just wasted your time and the advisor's time and the shop's time and everything's on the waste. Customers don't trust you, game over. Man, if you guys are completely vulnerable, just be like, and if Aaron, Jeff, she's like, hey man, this really doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how I can approach a customer and get this sold. All right, let me explain to you why this is a level 5 diac. We have to do a compression test. We have to take the injectors out. We have to scope this. We have to do this. And this will buy him all this stuff, and it still might not fix it, but this is what the customer's getting. And then we might have to test this out, but we won't know until this is done. And it's gonna be a level 5. And if you see the advisor, like, oh crap, like, then you keep on having to explain it until the advisor's confident, all right? And then if you guys are not comfortable, then you have to be like, dude, this is why I'm not comfortable selling this.
I'll move on to the next car. Because I'm not gonna spend extra time trying to figure out the weird, that usually comes from the weird problems. Why aren't you sure? Because it's not obvious.
Yeah.
Anything that we aren't sure, it's not obvious. Or we don't have the knowledge for it, for that system, or we're just lacking the experience.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys know it's going to be a rabbit hole, then, I mean, yeah. Well, you guys have that communication together. That's what you tell the advisor. Hey, there's going to be a rabbit hole. And I think, hey, but it's weird because like, don't end up selling something that you actually don't want sold. Does that happen sometimes? Man, but especially on busy days like today, it's going to be pretty crazy. And then temperature's going to go up. And you guys, it's so natural for the sales and production to be at ends with each other. And you're going to get pissed off at each other. But that's when you realize, man, we're all in the same boat. And if it's sinking, you guys are sinking together.
Yeah.
It's so important to realize that. If we have like 11 drop-offs already, man, that's going to be...
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yep. Just be completely honest with each other. And there could be something like a cabin filter that's on there and, you know, and it's like a big ticket. And then the advisor might not feel confident or they might know the customer like, hey, man, this is going to feel like we're nitpicking. The point of this is the advisors just need to be 100% confident. And as a technician, please don't get offended if something happens. But also, if you're changing anything, let the technician know. All right? Communication is key. All right? And like I said, the honeymoon period with a new tech coming in and everything closing, I mean, that doesn't last forever. Because the first comeback, then it's all over. And usually it takes about, if it's a decent tech, you know. But sometimes a bad tech, it'll be like the next week. Next week, so. Yeah. Remember when Cole first started? Dude. You guys were closing Cole recommendations. I mean, he like the first week, like, oh man, every tech is like that, man. Every tech.
That one comeback, everybody's like, Cole, gotta go.
Yeah. Even Caleb, man, I was like, oh man, that BMW did it.
We couldn't even give him anything. Like, he's not doing anything, but
Yeah.
we can't give him
I don't want
this
to give him
ticket.
this.
Yeah.
Walk by Cole. Here you go.
So, yeah. Does that make sense? I mean, is that asking too much just to have like really, really good communication, be vulnerable with each other? I mean,
That makes sense.
Can I piggyback off of something you said?
mhm.
So you said, like, they cover all of you guys, but not only that, if it's a mess up, that comes directly out of their pay. You guys are not paying for it. Actually, you're getting rewarded for it most of the time. Because if it's broken or whatever broken, well, I need labor to put it on. And I'm like, all right, whatever, just to shut you up, they'll do it. Like, and it comes directly out of their profit of the ticket, which is how they get paid. It's not fair.
Yeah. But that all goes around and comes around because the next time you guys recommend whatever that failed, it's probably not going to sell.
Yeah.
Everything works out in the end. But yeah, directly, I mean, yeah, it sucks.
At Mr. Dyer, they switched it to where the technicians had to pay for it. You know how many fuck ups stop happening immediately? A lot. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, probably in this nation, not a lot of shops are having this conversation where, hey, the advisor and technicians, we just got to be vulnerable with each other. I'm going to be the first to admit I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. Even with me, I mean, see, I might not know it, and I might have told you guys something, and I might have not kept my word. That might subconsciously, like, man, Jay's a liar, man. He's going to tell me something, and he's going to promise me something, and it's not going to happen. I might not even know it. I might have said something out of my subconscious and be like, hey, man, I'm going to do this, do this, do this. And if I don't hold my word, you know, I'm sure that's happened. So we just got to be completely, like, vulnerable, honest. And if I did do something like that, you can shoot me a text if you don't like face-to-face confrontation. He's like, hey, man, you promised me this. I was like, oh, okay. So you just got to be honest and just say, hey, you did this. I'm completely fine with that because I'm not perfect. So, same way.
Honest more than making the sale, right?
Oh,
Honest
absolutely.
more than meeting the goal.
Absolutely.
Honest more than meeting whatever. What is it? $250 hour? I mean, to me, to reach the goal, like easy, is not honest. To me.
No.
I mean, that's the evil side of me where.
No, because once you, okay, so there's shops out there that squirt oil in the struts and sell struts, right? We know that. And there's shops out there that sells flushes and they'll actually do the flushes, sell this. Dude, all those, and look, you guys know that I go to all the chain shops around here, like all of the RTP area, Mooresville area. I've walked in the shop, talked to people. Dude, they're not doing good. All the chain shops. I've been to the Firestones, the NTBs, everything. Talked to the managers. Guys, customers know. They're not stupid. They know if they're getting ripped off. They know. You got to be honest. If you're honest. So when we're saying, hey, when we're looking at the tech quote, and it's like, man, why is your tech quote so low? It's not like, hey, fluff it up. I'm not telling you guys to fluff it up. Never. Just do better inspections and look for things that are actually bad that we might be missing. That's what I'm talking about. Not squirting oil in struts. You know, not stabbing the tire with a knife. All right?
Like you focus on one thing, then try to have a lot of things. Well, that's like, to me, a little bit, where's the middle? Load the bolts, or just focus on one thing that could potentially have a higher sale rate, then just load the bolt and see what will sell. Or where you got it? See, that's the point. That's the fine line, I think, that I think I deal with.
I don't know if you, what do you think load the boat means? You just said it three times. What do you
everything
think
that could,
means?
you know,
'Cause I think
potentially,
you're
yeah,
off
for sale.
base on it.
Okay.
So one car, try to get maximum out of it.
No, that's not
That's
load
not
the
what
boat.
that means. No.
No.
What does that load the boat mean?
Load the boat is a way to quote parts on a repair order, simply.
Okay,
Right.
parts.
Yeah, just parts.
This is the example I always
Yeah, I
use.
got it, yeah.
Okay, the V6 Lexus, all right? Because my mother-in-law had that.
Yeah.
3 coils in the back, 3 coils on the
Okay,
front.
yeah. Now, all right.
You understand that, right?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And we don't push it down the customer's throat. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I want to give you the option of replacing 3 coils in the back to save you labor next time.
Okay. We've done that with separate coils, separate estimates.
And you guys can do that
1
too.
coil, 3 coils, 6 coils.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, if I'm the customer, dude, I want to get that 3 in the back. Because I don't want to come back next week and do the same thing over again. With all the systems too, like thermostat, man, like, and we're doing the water pump. You have to take the upper hose off anyway to get to the water pump. Hey, the thermostat's right there. It's 0.2 additional labor. $50 for the thermostat. Would you want to go ahead and replace that? So, Yeah, never to rip off a customer. We want to be as honest as possible, and we want to be able to sleep at night. I want to be able to sleep at night. I never want to jip anyone off. I want everyone to be able to walk in through this building and say, hey, I got extremely good value from this place. They weren't the cheapest. They weren't the most expensive, but I got everything I paid for. And my car was fixed. And they said they did what they said they were going to do. That's it. And then we'll have a thriving business.
Unlike the chain shops.
Dude,
Sometimes
some of them are good, but it really depends on who's working
who's
too.
working on it?
Yeah, it really depends on who's working there too. Sometimes there's like honest guys, but a lot of times, I mean, there's under so much corporate stress of making that sale, it even turns honest guys into bad guys. We have sales goals. We're a business. Every business has a sales goal. Every business has to have a profit. That's a business, right? Or we'd be a nonprofit. We have to have a profit, but never at the expense of the customer and being dishonest. Never. All right.